Salutations, ladies and gentlemen, and those of unspecified gender. My name is Zoozoobab, and welcome back to Pokévember, and the final What If video. Today we'll be discussing what if you had an evil team. Evil teams, probably the most consistent part of every mainline Pokemon game. Rocket, Magma, Aqua, Galactic, Plasma, Flare, Skull, and the Aether Foundation, all of them having a unique goal to accomplish, whether that be logical or not, and each of them is commanded by the boss and their admins. So let's dive right in with your journey. You start the game, get your starter, and move on through a few routes. Typical Pokemon adventure, nothing out of the ordinary so far, until you come across the first forest of the game, and you make your way through. But, midway through, you hear a child scream, "Help! Help!" You rush over to help, and you find that there's a hooded man attempting to steal this child's Zigzagoon. He looks at you, gets scared, and runs away. The child thanks you, and you make your way out of the forest. You've made it to the town that houses the first gym, but before you can do anything, you spot a large crowd gathered together. You go over and see what this is all about. We have a lot in common. The same earth, the same air, the same sky. Pokemon are no different to us, and they all require the same amount of love and affection. We implore you, if you know of someone who is mistreating their Pokemon, or isn't treating them well enough, report those persons to us. We know what must be done to make sure Pokemon can live their lives to the fullest. Please consider donating to Team Tellus. Thank you. A well-dressed man performs this speech to the crowd, and they applaud. People start lining up to donate money or report people they know. You think nothing of it. After all, these people don't seem like they're bad. I mean, they care deeply for all their Pokemon, and after the crowd disperses a bit, you see the well-dressed man whisper something to a Tellus member, and then leave. As curious as you are, you decide to follow him. He walks around the town a bit before going down a side street and enters a building. You can't enter this building though, it seems that you lack a key, so you leave until you're noticed by the hooded man from earlier. And he runs down the side street and attempts to enter the building too, but he's also aided by a Tellus member. So you decide to reveal yourself and ask him what's going on. Why is he with a Tellus member? The hooded man chuckles to himself and says, "The world isn't all just black and white, kid, but you've seen too much. Prepare yourself." They start a battle with you, the hooded man having an electric and a dark type Pokemon, and the Tellus member having a normal and a fire type Pokemon. But you take them down easily. After hearing all the commotion, the well-dressed man comes out and says, "My goodness, what on earth is going on here?" He apologizes to you and compensates you with a couple of Great Balls. You take them, leave, and continue your journey, beating gym after gym. After you've beat the third gym, you decide to look around the city you're in. And by that I mean you can't progress unless you do this event. That's kind of how linear games work. Anyway, you go on to the city centre and you see a large amount of scientists bothering trainers left and right, conducting interviews, taking measurements, and inspecting their gym badges. So, you know, typical nerd stuff. They notice you and hassle you next. You answer their questions, allow them to take your badges, to inspect them a bit. They'll give them back eventually, and then take your measurements, and then they leave. You think everything is over and done with, so you decide to leave, until you hear another trainer shout, "My badges! My badges are gone!" You check your badge case, and sure enough, your badges are gone too. I guess they didn't really give them back. Huh. So you make chase after the scientists, and you manage to catch them in a back alley. You demand that they return all the gym badges that they've stolen. They refuse and call out their allies, Team Tellus members, all dressed the same as the hooded man from the forest. Both the scientists and the Tellus members start a battle with you. The scientists use water and ice types, and the Tellus grunts use dark and electric type Pokemon. You beat them, and again, they demand that they return the badges. The scientists drop the badges and everyone scatters. You return the badges to their rightful owners and continue your journey. Now that you've had your second major run-in with Team Tellus and their conspirators, more Tellus grunts are scattered along your path between cities, causing havoc and making trouble and preparing for double. Wait, no, that's not how it goes. Whether that be scientists or well-dressed members or generic grunts, either way you'll be putting a stop to what they're doing. Now, around the time of the 5th or 6th gym, you start running into more and more of the generic grunts. Most of them are trying to steal weaker Pokemon, but some are focused on orders and staying together in their teams until the time is right. And after you've defeated certain grunts and then the gym leader, someone, maybe your rival, will alert you that something is happening at the local docks. You make your way over and hide, as to not draw attention to yourself. You notice a large amount of Team Tellus grunts all together, and in the distance a ship is coming to the docks. As the ship lands and lowers its bridges, the Tellus grunts hurry on, and one by one take boxes from the ship and load them onto the trucks. Since there's so many grunts around, you find it's best to stay hidden, so instead you take out a camera, or a Rotom-Dex. Either way you're recording what's going on. It may become useful later. You're just about finished recording when a significant amount of grunts are struggling to take a box off the ship. It makes sense after all, this box is extremely large. It's at this point that a grunt sneaks up on you and captures you. The grunt immediately brings you out and makes the others aware that you exist. You try to get away, but to no avail. Well, what do we have here then? A powerful voice booms through the air. The source of the voice reveals itself. A young man dressed a lot more casual than his grunt-like peers. He introduces himself as an admin for Team Tellus, and informs you that you are getting in the way of Project Titan. So he'll eliminate you here and now. The battle against Tellus admin Boat begins. He has 3 Pokemon, a Mightyena, a Luxray, and an Electros. 3 very powerful Pokemon, and a tough battle at that. You do of course manage to best him, but all for naught, as this battle was just a distraction, whilst the grunts load up the rest of the boxes onto the trucks and drive away. Boat also escapes and you continue your quest. After the 7th gym, you see a large crowd of people watching and signing up for another Team Tellus public announcement, once again hosted by the well-dressed man. But you're having none of it. You yell out and start making a scene, telling the public how Team Tellus are actually stealing Pokemon and using them for nefarious purposes. The well-dressed man merely laughs and asks, "Pray tell, why would we do such a thing? Team Tellus is here for the liberation of Pokemon, from foolish trainers who don't know the meaning of respect." In kind, you provide the video footage of Tellus grunts transporting boxes from a ship to trucks. The public begin to laugh though, because, well, you look like you've just played a video of workers at a dock. The well-dressed man gives off a light chuckle and orders his men to take you to the nearest police station. But you don't give up, you start to battle each of the grunts, winning battle after battle. And after about 5 or 6, the well-dressed man becomes annoyed and impatient. "Enough!" he says. "I'll just battle you myself. If I win, you must not bother us again. If you win, we'll withdraw." You agree, and the battle with Tellus admin Mario begins. He has 4 Pokemon, a Lopunny, a Snorlax, a Rapidash, and a Magmortar. It'll be a tough battle, but you do end up winning, forcing Team Tellus to withdraw from the city. However, the public now sees you as a nuisance and a delinquent. The Poké Center will no longer heal your Pokemon, and the mart will not sell you items in any city. Instead, you must go down back alleys and go to hostels to heal and shop. Quite clearly, by that point, you've had enough. You backtrack through the other towns and cities looking for other Team Tellus grunts and scientists. Each one you battle and each one you interrogate for information about their headquarters. Eventually you learn that their headquarters are back in the city of the first gym. Remember that locked door that you couldn't get into? Well, that's there. You immediately rush there, and as you enter the city you notice that it's a lot more deserted, less lively and seemingly colder. But a faint roar is heard from the other side of the city, and you rush to try and investigate. The noise leads you to the Tellus HQ, and subsequently a hell of a lot of grunts, scientists and well-dressed folks. But this won't stop you. You continue to rush forward, battling grunt and scientist and folk alike, taking names and kicking ass. Then there comes the boss rush, or in this case the admin rush. 3 admins, 5 Pokemon each, 2 types each. How well can you hold up? First up is the leader of the grunts and the Pokemon trafficking scheme, Boat. All his Pokemon are level 35, he's got Mightyena, Zoroark, Luxray and Electros, and then to throw you through a loop, Regirock. Next is the head of public relations and the most well-dressed of the admins, Mario. All his Pokemon are level 37, he's got a Lopunny, Snorlax, Rapidash, Magmortar and Registeel. Finally is the admin that hasn't been featured anywhere else in this story, as being the leader of the scientists, well, you've got to be back at base conducting experiments and researching. Here's Pugs. His Pokemon are all level 39 and he has an Alolan Ninetales, a Frostlass, Kingdra, Milotic and Regice. Now, you may be thinking that it's weird for admins to have legendary Pokemon, and whilst you're not wrong, it will be explained. But as you defeat those 3 and finally make your way up to the top floor of Tellus headquarters, and you stand face to face with the boss of Tellus, Zoo. You ask him, why? What's this all for? What's with the Reggie trio? Well, you've made it this far, and I guess I'll indulge you. The fact of the matter is that I run a business in the black market. Plain and simple. We traffic Pokemon, sell them off and make a profit. We've sold Pokemon to all sorts of people, from small-time trainers to entire organisations such as Team Rocket. As for the Reggies, well, they are required to awaken the leader, Regigigas. Apparently it has the power to move entire continents. Quite frankly, that's all we need it for. The cost of shipping can be quite off-putting to some customers, so we thought we'd reduce that cost and make the world one large supercontinent. You're a little confused. Really? Something as simple as stealing Pokemon for profit? Yes. After all, money is what is most important in this world. Those who have the money have the power. But enough of that. You know too much. So therefore I must eliminate you. And before you know it, your battle against Tellus boss Zoo begins. I start the battle with a level 51 Gardevoir with the trace ability and the moves Psychic, Moonblast, Thunderbolt and Energy Ball. Then there's a level 52 Gallade with the justified ability and the moves Psycho Cut, Close Combat, Leaf Blade and Earthquake. After that is Scizor at level 53 with the Technician ability and the moves Bullet Punch, Bug Bite, Wing Attack and Brutal Swing. After that is a level 54 Golisopod with Emergency Exit and the moves First Impression, Liquidation, Leech Life and Rock Slide. Finally is a level 55 Regigigas with Slow Start and the moves Heavy Slam, Dizzy Punch, Zen Headbutt and Revenge. But you do manage to defeat me, and I'll say, there was no point to this battle. After all, I still have an army and you're just one trainer, and a kid at that. It's at this point that I noticed the Rotom Dex hidden in the corner of the room. You've been recording my entire speech in battle, and now with this evidence you make your escape and report your case to the police. I and the rest of Team Tellus are arrested, the team is disbanded, and you continue your Pokemon adventure, of course, with re-access to the marts and centres. But what did you think? Would you be able to stop the dastardly Team Tellus, or would their schemes go unstopped? Leave your thoughts and ideas for your own evil team down in the comments section, and be sure to drop a like, and also check out Birdkeeper Toby and Mr. Buddy as they inspired the Pokévember series. Their channels are in the description too. So thank you so much for watching this series, it's been a blast making it. Oh, and be sure to check back tomorrow, Sunday the 25th of November at 5 PM GMT, 12 PM EST and 9 AM PST for a Pokemon live stream. So until next time, bye bye!